On Friday evening, March 12th, three Madison Precinct officers, Brandon Lopez, Thomas Dinania, and Ben Williams, responded to a yard in the 2800 block of Greer Road on a call that a woman had made suicidal statements and wanted a SWAT team to shoot her. After the three officers were on the scene for several minutes, the woman, Melissa Wooden, was wounded by Officer Lopez after she came at Officer Williams with a pickaxe. Ms. Wooden is recovering and continues to be in stable condition at Vanderbilt University Medical Center. As you know, this police department is in the process of deploying body-worn and in-car cameras to officers across all precincts. Not everyone at the Madison precinct has received cameras to this point. One of the officers from Friday evening, Field Training Officer Ben Williams, had been issued cameras, and we will be viewing his perspective of the events, which included the complication of having to deal with Ms. Wooden's mother, who arrived in the yard via scooter as the officers were talking to her daughter. You are about to see body-worn camera footage so that you can have a better understanding of what occurred based on what we know up to this point. The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation and this police department conduct thorough use of force investigations. This investigation is in the early stages and will take time to complete. A word of caution: the images and information you are about to see may be disturbing and difficult to watch. Viewer discretion is advised, especially for children and sensitive viewers. Commander Scott Bird, the MNPD's Director of Training, will offer his observations and take your questions at the conclusion of this video presentation. We will begin the presentation with the 911 call, which came to Nashville's Department of Emergency Communications from the Sumner County Dispatch Center. Because the scene on Greer Road is right on the county line, the 911 call went to Sumner County initially. Now the video.
Friday, March 12, 2021, 16:50 and 59 seconds.
Okay, anyway, I'm getting off the phone and I'll be ready for it.
No, stay on the line with me, okay? Melissa, please stay on the line with me.
Hello, 911.
Okay, Metro, we've got a Melissa Chrisman on the line. Her address, she believes it's Miss Melissa, you think Point?
Our rapid light is Greer.
Greer Road, yes, yes. She's Greer Road. Sumner County, can you go ahead and disconnect, because it's making, so we won't have so much static.
I'm afraid that it's going to, I've got a callback number for her. I'm afraid it's going to disconnect the entire call. Can I give you the number?
Is it? Oh, no.
No.
This is Metro. Is the caller still on the line?
Yes, Miss Melissa, go ahead and talk to her.
Melissa, are you there?
She's saying she's wanting to harm herself, wanting the police or SWAT to come out and hopefully they would shoot her. But we try to keep her calm and tell her not to do that.
Okay, I can't hear her, so can you ask the question?
Okay, I'm going to disconnect. You do have her callback number?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am, we have it.
Okay. All right, bye-bye.
Melissa? Miss Melissa? Okay, Metro. Melissa? Okay, I'm not sure she's there, but I'll let you go ahead and give her a call back. You got it?
Yeah, I'll get the responder started and try and give her a call back. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Friday, March 12, 2021, 16:55 and 38 seconds.
Dispatch standing units available to break free for 63 Paul, code 3, Greer Road.
22, closing code 6, send me that. 21, code 4, send me that. 23, you can send me that.
721, boy, 722, boy, 723, boy, 720 to be direct, 63 Paul, code 3, Greer Road. Greer Road, cross street of Ivy Point Road. FD is staging, and it's going to be, I don't know, female just advising she wants to harm herself. Also be advised, she is saying that she wants the police to come so that they can shoot her.
23 direct. 21 direct. 22 direct. 20 hours direct. We had 3 units going, is that correct?
That's 10-4.
Let's make sure we keep all 3 of them en route.
10-4?
She's got a pickaxe and a baseball bat. She's a female, white, all black, or all dark blue, pink shoes. 23, we're out with him.
10-4.
Step away from my car! Step away from my car!
What? Melissa. Melissa. Melissa, what is going on today? What's the deal?
Look, I'm not talking to anybody. Y'all need to shoot me or kill me right now.
I understand. I hear what you're saying, but what happened? Would you take something today? Can you be honest with me? Did you take something?
I didn't.
Okay. You're sober?
Well, I drink alcohol, but that's it.
Okay, that's it. Were you feeling like this before you drank?
I don't know that. Hold on. Go ahead and kill me.
Nobody's gonna kill you, Melissa.
Step away from my car.
Huh.
Y'all can take me all y'all want, but I'm telling
Trying to get her away from my phone.
this is gonna be hands off.
Okay, Melissa.
Melissa, please.
Nobody is going to kill you. No one is going to harm you. You know how this ends? Okay? We're not doing this.
Do not talk to me. Go ahead and get I already all this today.
Okay.
Y'all can taser me, go ahead and taser me, and I'll fuck y'all up and kill me at this point.
Melissa, come on.
I'm being serious.
I know, but let's just set it down and talk. Let's at least go that route. Please.
Set one of them down.
No, I'm not.
Just one of them.
Can you at least sit down then? Can we just talk? Please.
We've established that nobody here is going to hurt you. Okay? Look at me in my eyes and know that I'm telling you the truth. None of us are going to hurt you. Okay? None of us are going to kill you.
The only result in here is I want to be dead.
Okay.
And y'all have guns, so go ahead and
No, Sue, you're putting that so simply. Like that's how it works. No, that's not how it works. This is complicated. Okay? There's no reason for me to pull my weapon on you, okay? Because right now, there's distance between us. We can figure something else out, okay? At the end of the day, we just want to get you some help. Obviously.
The help that y'all can give us and give me a bullet in my head.
Can we agree that this is not working out? Like something's off right now, obviously, right?
Obviously, there's something wrong.
Okay.
I'm about to make y'all kill myself or do cop suicide.
Okay.
That friend all day.
Is there anybody else here?
I'm not going to say that.
Because there is?
I'm not going to answer nothing.
Okay. Are you sure you didn't take something? Your mouth is very dry for having just drank alcohol. You didn't take anything?
No, I didn't.
Okay. Have you done this before? This kind of thing before?
Just go ahead and kill me.
I'm not going to kill it. Nobody, like I said, nobody's going to kill you. All right? Nothing like that's going to happen. All right? Put one down for me.
I'm not putting anything down until y'all kill me.
Okay.
This will be hold up until y'all fucking kill me. Then I'll be rest in peace, whatever. I'm looking out through y'all.
Okay.
And I know what how this is going. You're about to jump me?
Nobody's going to jump you. Okay, keep your distance, please. Keep your distance. No. Just stop right there.
What are you doing? I'm not having stuff. This is what
Did she take anything?
She's mentally ill.
Okay.
I planned for them to come here.
That's what she wants to.
They are not going to shoot you. Quit that
down. I'm gonna beat you up.
Please don't get too close to her, because then it's
I'm
my.
not scared of her.
I understand that, but it's my responsibility if something happens to
Melissa,
you.
Leanne, put that stuff down now.
I will kill my. No,
Put it down.
Why don't you walk over here with us?
Oh my God.
Yeah, when we go over there and talk.
Oh my God. She takes. She done. She's trying to get cops to kill her right now.
Okay. Did she take anything?
Yeah, she's taking a bunch of but she's still crazy.
Okay.
Oh Jesus! I just got her out of the hospital on the 8th.
Well, we're gonna get her. We're gonna get her help. That's what we're gonna try to do. We're gonna resolve it peacefully.
She's a good kid. She just messed up in the head. Oh my God.
We're gonna resolve it peacefully.
Because of all this shit. I'm sick of it.
Everything is
That's just
delusional control.
That's just gonna agitate her. Melissa.
Sorry, Mom, but I'll be resting in peace with Jesus in front of us.
Yeah, not gonna happen. Again, not gonna happen.
I'm dying.
Melissa, put your things down.
Melissa,
We're getting the
listen.
whole neighborhood.
Melissa.
I'm gonna off. Shoot me.
Dispatch any available unit out on this.
23, please hold the air. So we're gonna stand off with her.
10-4.
And I have planned all this.
Listen.
Suicide by cop, and I'm not done.
Hey, Benjamin.
Whoa.
Ma'am,
Ma'am, back away from her.
Don't do
back
that.
away from her. Back
Don't
away
do
from her. I'm gonna take the key out of this thing, okay? That.
Ma'am, just please.
Negative. We're working on
Just
it.
back up.
You're going back to the hospital.
Just stay away from the street.
I'm backing up. Y'all say.
Taser. Come get. Jesus Christ.
I know you didn't kill her.
Shots fired. We have 2 shots fired.
What?
Roll over.
I know you didn't, you stupid.
So in the coming days, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation and the Davidson County District Attorney's Office will continue to investigate and analyze this incident. By policy, the police department will also be conducting an administrative review to ensure that the high standards expected of our officers are met. As I said at the onset, Commander Scott Bird, our Director of Training, is here with Lieutenant Lee Dupuy from the Training Academy. They'll talk about their observations from what they've seen, and then take your questions. Commander Bird.
Good afternoon, everybody. Always a challenging day when you have a circumstance end like that, because that is not the objective that we're after at all when we've got those circumstances that are playing out in front of us. So when you get to looking at what the initial call was with respect to the incident, you've got a female who was threatening to essentially encourage officers to get to shooting her. A mental health situation that we're over there trying to arrive for the purposes of diffusing. When you see the officers get to arriving there on the scene, you see that immediately they begin doing things to try and establish a rapport. They get to establishing and maintaining distance from her so as to not get her further agitated than what she already was. Just some of the officers' observations there on the scene with respect to the dry mouth and things like that. He was over there asking questions, relevant questions with respect to what it is that the female could have potentially been on, and then again tried to have a conversation with her in an effort to try and calm the situation down. That conversation is moving in a positive direction, and in my time on the police department, working with our police department SWAT team and our negotiators, it falls right in line with what it is that we would have a negotiator do when they get to arriving on a similar scene. They look to establish that rapport, try to calm the situation down, in an effort to seek a peaceful resolution of what that circumstance or that situation is. The circumstances change, and again, things were moving in that positive direction. You can kind of see with respect to the posturing that you get to seeing in the video, When they first arrive, she's got the axe and that bat up, highly agitated. As that conversation initially started to happen, her posture relaxed some. You'll see that it goes from being prepared to utilize those tools to a circumstance where I'm now wanting to talk. I'm letting those things, allowing those things to rest in my hands and my arms as I'm having those conversations. The challenging circumstance gets to presenting itself when the subject's mother gets to arriving on the scene, and you could tell by the manner in which she was talking to her daughter that she was not doing anything to get to helping that circumstance. You could see the subject's temperament and mood immediately change, more tense. The weapons that she was holding in her hands as she was carrying on conversations with us went up into a more threatening manner. She became more agitated. The officer gets to asking the mother some relevant questions, of course, trying to encourage her to stay back in the first place. She continued to come on anyway, trying to get to asking some relevant questions with respect to what all was going on, trying to determine if she was on any kind of medications or if she had taken anything during the day to help determine what we can do as far as services to be able to help in that situation in the positive way. After that initial conversation with the mother, you see the officer again then begins to establish rapport. And if you'll notice, there's a point in time where he starts to put on some gloves, and you can see him get to making the mental note and verbally says it on the camera. All that's going to do is agitate her. So he puts those away. He doesn't get to putting those things on his hands, an indication that he was very aware of what her mental state was and what he was trying to do to try and help make that situation better. You can see that conversation starts back, and then again, the mother interjects herself into the situation, as you can see, almost driving right up on top of the female as she's standing there, creating a very dangerous situation for everybody that was there involved. The officer, of course, tries to get to intervening, but an officer's not going to pull back a scooter that gets to weighing probably 100 pounds or a couple hundred pounds, however much they weigh. So he's forced to get to placing himself in between the mother and the daughter, which causes us to get closer than what it is we want in that circumstance, trying to encourage the mother to get to backing up as that is happening. You can hear in the background as that interaction is happening, the mother continuing to yell at the mother, "You're going back to the hospital," saying all of those things to help raise that female's anxiety instead of bring it down, which is what it is we're wanting to have happen in that particular circumstance there. You can see that the female, again, is now highly agitated because of this second interaction. You can see that she holds up the pickaxe in a threatening manner once towards the officers that were once standing in the street and have now moved up to stand in support of Officer Williams, who had to get closer to get to addressing the problems presented by the mother. You see her get to bringing it up a second time in a threatening manner, and that's when the officer arrives at the taser deployment in an effort to try and diffuse a rapidly escalating situation with respect to the female and the mother. Of course, Officer Williams cannot turn his back to the female, to the subject, to get to addressing the mother, who is creating a whole nother problem all by herself. So he's over there, he's having to get to essentially address two problems there at the same time as he is looking to try and address the issue. The taser's deployed. We see that it is not successful. We see that the subject, then begins to make movements with the pickaxe and the bat raised in an effort to launch an attack, or what appears to be an attack on the officer, at which time one of the officers that was standing there near the road responds in defense of self or others, was the criteria that was met there, and he discharged his weapon in a controlled manner. When the female goes down, you see that those officers immediately go to rendering aid in an effort to get her the help that she needs, both medically and with respect to the mental health aspect of what all is going on there. What the video doesn't show is that fire department personnel were standing by. They were just down the road. So the medical response was immediate with respect to that request for help with respect to that. Those are the observations that I have with respect to what it is that we've seen in the video from a training division perspective. And at this stage, I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
I know that's incredibly difficult situation in that one point. It almost seemed like the gunshots came simultaneously or just a split second after the taser. I'm wondering if you could tell me what you think the officer perceived at that moment that made him realize the taser was ineffective in that split second. And also, if that's indeed the case, it seems like the taser doesn't have a whole lot of effect. It didn't seem like it had a lot of effect in Friday, the first incident, or in this one, frankly.
So that's one of the things that when we get to looking at those taser reports and we get to looking at the official investigative reports with respect to those things, we'll get a better idea as to why the taser was not effective, why the taser didn't perform as what we expected. Again, he got to calling out the taser to indicate that it was a taser that was being discharged. Of course, the woman has already brought the pickaxe up a couple of times, so the officers have probably already started to raise their weapons to potentially get to addressing that threat. And then when the pickaxe was turned on Officer Williams and then began making those motions, again, they got to responding appropriately.
Do you know how far she was from Officer Williams? Can you tell from the video the distance between her and him at that moment?
I'm not sure what the distance is. I know that it is close. When you get to thinking about someone with a long handle with the ability to be able to reach out, again, you could tell that it was a circumstance where that was close. It was threatening.
Can you kind of walk through MMPD's use of force continuum and what constitutes escalation versus de-escalation? Because this is the fourth officer-involved shooting in less than 2 months, and I guess I'm wondering if you're thinking about if there need to be any revisions to the use of force and de-escalation training to avoid this from continuing to be a pattern.
So we always get to looking at these incidents and we let the investigation play out so we can get to seeing what all the circumstances are that came into effect, the ingredients, if you will, that led to what the circumstance and the situation was there. In those circumstances, again, officers have the ability to be able to move up and down a use of force continuum based upon what it is that they're seeing. So they have the ability to be one step above the force that is presented to them, and then they have the ability to be able to adjust that as necessary. Because she was armed, indicating what it was that she was indicating, and because of the threatening manner that she was holding that in from the very get-go, the manner or the application or the drawing of pistols and having it at the ready. And in that circumstance, the officers are perfectly justified in having it in a much more ready position. Because they had utilized their training and experience, they knew that distance was going to be able to help them in that circumstance. So they're able to present those weapon systems in a much less threatening manner. And again, Officer Williams, again, in the majority of the video, you see that he is not armed at all. As a matter of fact, he gets to explaining to her, I'm not armed because we've got distance here. He gets to saying those things on the video, indicating those are the thought processes that are going through his head. So he has two people that have the potential to help him if it turns into a deadly force situation, which allows him to be able to establish that rapport, have that conversation in an effort to try and de-escalate.
Is there an option here where maybe you keep your distance and, she doesn't have a gun, and just write it out and keep your distance the whole way instead of pressing it? I know the mother there escalated things, but short of that, let's just keep our distance and just wait it out.
So under a normal circumstance where the mother does not interject herself in that situation, that's exactly how that would have played out. Those officers would not have moved in any closer than what they were. Now, if she gets to moving around and things like that, we need to get to adjusting how it is we're moving with her to ensure that she doesn't get into an area where she can threaten others. But again, the distance that they were from where they were at to where she was at, they're going to get to maintaining that, looking to make sure that that remains consistent. So that, again, it does not give the appearance that we're looking to try and come in on her or do anything in a threatening manner.
The mom just pushed it.
The mom is what pushed it. Again, had the mother not been there, and again, when you get to looking at the mother, again, almost drives right up on top of the daughter, and Officer Williams feels compelled to place himself in between the mother and the daughter. I can only assume that's what his thought process is. Those interviews and things like that will get coming out. But again, you could hear at the beginning of the video when he gets to talking about, hey, your safety is my responsibility, before we got to the part where she drove up on her. So it kind of goes again to that mindset that she placed herself into a bad situation, and that's part of what it is that we're there to do, is to place ourselves between the danger and the general public, that innocent public, to keep those circumstances from escalating onto them. We would much rather that come on us where we have the tools and the ability to be able to deal with that than have that come onto the mother.
On Saturday, Chief Drake mentioned pushing for more crisis intervention teams and that sort of work. Two questions there. Why don't we have those yet? What's in the way of that? And how could that have changed this outcome where somebody may not have been shot?
So crisis intervention teams are something that is currently being looked at. Know that our working relationship with the folks in the mental health community is absolutely outstanding. Again, I'll get to going back to my time on the SWAT team. We had fantastic working relationships with mental health. The ability to be able to get them on the phone, to be able to have them respond to scenes, to be able to get to helping in those incidents. It's a relationship that we're looking to continue to get to building on. In this particular circumstance here, a mental health counselor there on the scene would have probably taken a very similar approach to what Officer Williams utilized there when he was engaged in that initial interaction. But with the mother coming and engaging the way she did and interacting with the daughter in the manner in which she did, the circumstances would have been similar, that the officer would have felt compelled to get to placing themselves in between the mother and the daughter, and then the circumstance plays out. It would be a very similar end, is what I would suspect.
I guess, what was the role of the two other officers who were standing there? Because obviously the one officer was really juggling a lot, trying to help the mom, trying to help the woman. Is there a situation where those backup officers could have maybe stepped in with the mom, or was it just too difficult for them to kind of walk around the woman?
So there are two additional concerns in addition to what they had in front of them. You had traffic and other folks that they had where the road was stopped. So they're wanting to make sure that folks don't try to drive up into the middle of that circumstance, dismount out of a car, and get to making that situation worse. The other part that we had was the police vehicle there. Again, just making sure that no attempt was made to try and do something or get into that vehicle and try and escape in that fashion as well. So they're over there looking to, again, provide that observation and that cover to Officer Williams, get to moving that perimeter if it became necessary. If she got to trying to move up and down the road or deeper into the yard, they were there to get to supporting in that role. Officer Williams had worked well to get to establishing that initial rapport. Again, you can tell that by the body language again. And they were very much recognizing that he was having some success with respect to that. And so he allowed that, they allowed that to continue and to simply stand by to support what actions were needed.
Was this based on the national model where you have one person do verbal, another standing by to use non-lethal, and then a third to use lethal if necessary?
So anytime we're over there looking to get to establishing a negotiation with respect to someone, we always try to do it with just one voice. Trying to avoid the multiple talking heads, keeping the attention focused on the one person so that that rapport can be built. And then having those cover officers that are there to help provide support to what all is taking place there. It is consistent with what it is we train, where we have an individual with an interaction that's out during an incident. We'll have an individual get to making that contact while the other officer is standing there to watch what's happening there and make sure that they are able to intervene on anything that may try to interject itself into the situation.
Officer Williams was not the first officer on the scene from the tape. There were already officers there. Why was he the one that stepped forward and was the voice in this?
So Officer Williams is a training officer. So he has some more training in association with his duties as a field training officer. So again, being able to take those that knowledge and that experience that's learned at our training division and be able to apply it into the field. So he's got a little bit more of that. And our field training officers are more experienced officers, and you'll find that in those circumstances they will take the lead in those things because there's that comfort level there that's associated with that experience.
Do all training officers have body cameras currently?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Anybody else?
Just one other question. So I know that obviously, when an investigation is done into use of force, you're looking at whether or not the officer followed policy and training. But are there ever situations where they completely followed the training, but you're thinking to yourself, maybe we need to update our training to avoid this outcome? Is that something you think about in these types of cases, just generally?
So we're always looking to evaluate how it is we can get to doing better. If you get to thinking about the advances in technology and some of the tools we have available to us that we get to utilizing in the field, it is as a result of constant evaluation. The partnership with Mental Health Co-op and with our mental health partners is a prime example of that. That was something that was not something that was done before. And as time has gone on and we have built those relationships and seen the benefits that are associated with having those folks as a part of those calls is the reason why we're having the discussions with respect to critical incident response teams in order to get to helping in that circumstance. So we're always willing to get to looking at what it is we're doing, how it is we do it, in order to improve both how it is we get to employing tools and to get to utilizing or an analysis of the tools that we have available to us in order to help bring about the resolutions that we're looking for in those circumstances.
Thanks, everybody.